Okay, get yourself ready for your morning practice. Come into a good cross-legged position. No. Come on. Yeah, sorry, just waiting for the cat. Sit yourself in cross legs, and then just have a little wriggle about on your cushion or on your blocks. Just make sure that you're feeling evenly positioned. Right, he's sitting right next to the microphone, so you might hear him purring or maybe licking himself. It's gross, isn't it? But so apologies for that. So lift up into the chest, elevate the heart area upwards, and draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Just look down at the floor, look at something that's not moving. Just focus on the sound of your breath. Listen to the sound of the inhalation, observing how the sound of the inhalation draws air in through the nostrils, and the sound of the exhalation draws air out from the back of the throat. Just release your knees, bring your hands into Namaste, press the palms firmly together. And then with an exhalation, allow your eyes to gently close. Focusing on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations and exhalations. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Breathing into both lungs evenly. With an exhalation, draw your chin down to meet your chest. Lift the chest up to meet your chin. Just spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone or somewhere. Hold on to that feeling of abundance in the heart area as you release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. And then as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Hold onto your knees and lift up into your chest, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Draw your chin down to meet your chest. And then with an exhalation, drive the chin up to the ceiling. Stretching out the front of the neck. Take a deep inhalation, and with the following exhalation, draw the chin down to meet the chest. So just stretching out the front and the back of the neck. The more you draw your shoulders down away from your ears when the chin is connected to the chest, the more you lengthen out in the back of the neck. Take a deep inhalation, and with the exhalation, drive the chin up to the ceiling. And with an exhalation, bring your head back to face the front. Take a deep in-breath. And with an exhalation, draw your right ear down towards the right shoulder, but keeping the right shoulder away from the ear. So lengthening out that left side of the neck. So just keeping the neck nice and still as you go. Take a deep inhalation and then bring the left ear over to the left shoulder. Just keeping the shoulders down away from the ears. The more you work into the shoulders, the more you release into the neck. Keeping the shoulders down away from the ceiling. Take a deep inhalation, and then with the exhalation, right ear to right shoulder. And an inhalation followed by an exhalation as you draw the left ear over to the left shoulder. So just taking your time, just working with the breath, observing your breath. And then come back to the center. Just hold onto your knees, elevate the heart area upwards. Take a deep inhalation and then turn with the exhalation to the right side. Drawing your abdomen across and your ribs and your shoulders, keeping the neck soft, keeping the shoulders away from the ears, using the out breath to intensify the turn. come back to the centre. Hold onto your knees, lift up into your chest, elevating the heart area upwards, and then turning to the left. Just observing how your body responds to the turn, whether there is resistance or freedom or both. Draw your focus into areas of the body that present little or no resistance. And then come back to the centre. So we're just going to do a little bit of an alternate nostril breathing, and that will help us to just kind of clear out the head, clear out the sinuses, clear out the head. So if you remember, alternate nostril breathing is where you inhale through, so you exhale through a nostril and then inhale, and then you cover, so you use the thumb to cover the left, so the right nostril, and then the ring finger to cover the left nostril. So you cover the right, and then you exhale, and then inhale, and then you cover, and then you swap over, you cover the left, and then you exhale and inhale, and then you cover the right, exhale, inhale. So you exhale first and then inhale. You can exhale and inhale fairly forcefully so you can hear the sound. Also always useful to have a tissue nearby if you need to. Okay, so just have your hands on your forehead for a moment. Just breathing in and out through the nose, just listening to the breath. So we're going to do 10 alternate nostril breaths. So you do it in at your own pace. Just listen to the breath, just normal breathing to start off with. So I'll start us off and then just do 10 in your own time. So remember, we begin with an exhalation. So take an inhalation and then cover the right nostril with the tip of the thumb. And then exhale. Inhale through the left. And then cover the left, exhale. Inhale and then cover the right, and then continue until you've done 10. And then when you've done your 10, just release your nose and just breathe normally. Just take some normal in breaths, normal out breaths. And then come off your lift. Just come down onto your knees, just sit back on your heels for a moment. Sit back on your heels, just wriggle into the inner heels so that the outer heels roll out to the side. Drawing the instep across to the outer side of the foot, the little toe side of the foot. Press the shins into the floor so you activate the thighs, and then lift up into the heart area, maintaining that connection between the seat bones and the heels as much as you possibly can, using a block between or a blanket between the seat bones and the heels. If you lose connection, come forwards into Adho Mukha Virasana, just stretching out the back. Bring the forehead down. If you lose contact between the seat bones and the heels, by bringing the head down, then put the head underneath the block, or on top of a block even. Just breathe even deep inhalations and exhalations, just pressing into the forehead gently to quieten the brain. Come up onto your knees. Have your little fingers on the edge of the mat. Stretch the thumbs towards each other. Turn your toes under. And then push in the hands into the floor. Come up into Adho Mukha Svanasana, dog down. Straightening the legs by tightening the kneecaps. Listening to the breath. Keeping the jaw soft, keeping the tongue and the throat soft. Trying to draw the shoulder blades in. So lift the seat bones, tilt the tailbone up towards the ceiling. Just breathe in deeply and softly. Just observe your internal balance. Balance of the limbs. Balance of action. And then step forwards, come up into the standing position. And then get a couple of blocks for your hands for Uttanasana, half Uttanasana. Bring the feet as wide apart as the mat, bringing the heels out as wide as the mat, bringing the little toes out as wide as the mat, so that the big toes are closer together than your heels. Tighten the kneecaps, so you lift the kneecap and push the kneecap through to the back of the knee. Lift up into the chest. Have your hands on your hips for a moment. Draw in the elbows towards each other to broaden the front chest. Just hit your legs back so that your weight is in your heels. Lifting up into the chest. And then hinge at the hips. And then reach down. Find the blocks. Lift the seat bones up towards the ceiling. Project the chin and the chest forwards, extending forwards. feel the balance of effort. Feel how the left side and the right side feels even or doesn't feel even. And if it doesn't feel even, just attempt to bring evenness of action. It doesn't always feel even. The left side doesn't always feel evenly activated as the right side and vice versa. So just use the pose to just attune to the activity of action, to attune to the observation of action. If you can go down any lower, then do. If you're protecting your back, then stay at the higher lift. Just observing your inner activity. I often find that one thigh wants to work really willingly, the other not so willingly. So you have to try and get the less willing side to work in synchronicity with the more willing side. So listen to the breath, listen to the action of the pose. Try and find that internal balance and maintain it. And then bring your hands into your hips and then bend your knees on the way up if you need to. Come up into a standing position. So just stand in Tadasana, inner edge of the feet together, lifting up into the chest, elevating the heart area upwards. Turn your palms outwards so that you broaden the chest, so that you turn the tops of the shoulders, the tops of the arms in the shoulder sockets, broadening the chest. Just observe whether you're breathing evenly, whether the breathe as evenly into the left lung as the right, and vice versa. Bring your arms out to the side, lifting up into the chest, stretching out of the heart area into both arms. And then bring your arms in towards your chest, and then step or jump your legs apart, nice and wide with the legs. Turn the left toes in, the right leg and foot all the way out, and then come over into trikonasana, finding the shin. Looking up, turning the abdomen to the ceiling, turning the chest to the ceiling. Just feeling where the body is in 3 dimensions. Is your front leg buttock bone, is it pointing towards the back of the room, or can you squeeze it forwards? Are your thighs turning, the fronts of the thighs turning outwards? Is that back leg as activated as the front leg? Breathe in and out through the nose, turning the chest to the ceiling. Just have a look down, make sure that that foot is fully activated, that the head is directly over the foot. Look up. Breathing into both lungs evenly, keeping both legs evenly activated. Come back to the center. Swap the feet around, turn the right toes in. Left leg and foot all the way out. And then come down into the left side. Just maintaining that observation of action. Listening to the breath. Looking upwards, breathing in and out through the nose, feeling how the legs are working evenly. So from here, we're going to go directly into dog down. If that doesn't work for you, come out of trikonasana in the way that we just came into it, and then bring yourself out, step your feet together, and then come down into dog down. Otherwise, drop that top hand down onto the floor, maybe bend that left leg, bring the top hand onto the big toe side, bring the other hand, the left hand, onto the little toe side, and then step back into dog down. Just observe how it feels different. Maybe it feels lighter, but does it feel even? So does it feel evenly activated? And if it doesn't, then address that imbalance. So chances are it probably doesn't. So address that imbalance to bring levelness, evenness of action. So that usually requires the less willing side to activate more in line with the more willing side. Okay, and then just come down onto your knees, sit back on your heels, and lift the chest, elevate the heart area upwards. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Pressing the shins into the floor. Lifting up into the heart area. And then hinge at the hips, come into Adho Mukha Virasana. So maybe coming into this pose the second time, maybe it feels different. Observe that difference. Maybe you observe where you've warmed up. Maybe you observe how your back will stretch a little more evenly or willingly. Maybe you observe something different. Just spend your time in the pose in observation and activation. Okay, and then bring your hands underneath your shoulders and then sit yourself up on your heels. Lift up into the chest. Just observe how your energy has changed. So we can do some headstand preparations, or if you can do a headstand, you can just go straight up into a headstand. Otherwise, we're just going to do the preparation stage and come in and out of that several times. If you're not doing a headstand today, then you can do Sept Baddha Konasana, lay on your back with your feet together, your knees apart, and come into Sept Baddha Konasana. Otherwise, just feel that you can lift the chest from this seated position so that you can, because what we want in a headstand is for this lift here. So, but ultimately it kind of feels like everything collapses. But look what happens when you collapse your chest. If you collapse your chest, your shoulder blade region pushes outwards. And then that's a kind of a weak position for your body to be in for to support it. then all of the weight goes into the neck. So activate the heart area, lift the heart area up so that the shoulder blades move in towards the spine. And then come forward, maintaining that lift, keeping the head lifted, avoiding bringing the head down to the floor. Bring your elbows down onto the floor and have your elbows in line with each other. So they're no wider than your shoulders and they're no narrower than your shoulders. Your elbows are in line with your shoulders. And then pick up the hands, the elbows in the floor, pick up the hands and then lengthen into the little finger side. Interlock the fingers into the webbing of the hands, lengthening the little finger side away, keeping the thumbs in contact, and then present the hands down to the floor. Pressing the outer wrist down into the floor, keeping the elbows in line with the shoulders, lengthening your thumbs into the finger knuckles. So the finger knuckles should never be, the tips of your fingers should never go a lighter colour. They're really there to just, you should be stretching your fingers towards the opposite wrist rather than gripping the back of the hand. Keep the cup of the hands open, so the cup that you created by interlocking the fingers, keep that open. Bring your chin in toward your chest and then bring the top of the head onto the floor, pushing the base of the skull into the heel of the hands, so keeping the heel of the hands open, but pushing the heels of the hands into the skull. And then bend your knees and then come into initially like a dog down but on your head. So just straighten the legs beyond tiptoes and then just find your upside down. Just observe how it feels for you this morning. Push the armpits into the elbows so that you bring the weight away from your head. And then just bend your knees and sit yourself back. So if it feels heavy on your head, maybe you need to learn to work your arms more deeply. So if it feels really heavy on your head, you're not going to go any further with keeping your head on the floor. Instead, you're going to work your arms really firmly, keeping your head away from the floor, and then activate the legs like you're in dog down. So that's the next stage if it felt really heavy on your head. So either keep the head away from the floor and you do all of the work with your arms, or bring the base of the skull back down onto the top of the head onto the floor, base of the skull into the hands, and then turn the toes under and come into dog down legs. And this time, if your head is on the floor, don't do this if it's not, then you're going to walk your toes in towards your head. But all the time activating the arms, like you want to push them through the floor. Keep the legs straight, suck the shoulder blades in, draw the shoulders away from your ears. So Ruth, push your elbows into the floor, lengthen from the armpits into the elbows, activate the thighs, draw the shoulder blades inwards. That's it. And then walk your feet in towards your head a little more. So Ian, your elbows look a little bit wide, I would say. So just bring them a little closer together, and then you get better support for your head. Okay, just come in and out of that preparation stage a couple of times. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Okay, and then just come down onto your knees and then just sit up into virasana. Just observing your energy. And then come back into Adho Mukha Virasana. But have the fingertips on the floor, have the palms away from the floor, just to give you space in the shoulders. And then come back, sit back on your heels, lift up into your chest. And then just sit yourself into cross legs. Just come into cross legs. You can sit on a lift if you need to, or if you can sit directly on the floor, then do that. So you can sit on a folded blanket or on a couple of blocks. So just hold onto your knees, lift up into your chest, elevating your heart area upwards. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, allowing the chest to expand with the in-breath. Draw your chin forwards and down so that it makes contact with your chest, lifting your chest up to meet your chin. If you can't make contact between the chest and the chin, then put like a rolled up belt, just wedge that underneath your chin so you get connection between the chin and the chest for Jalandhara Bandha. And then raise Mula Bandha, lifting the anal sphincter up towards the diaphragm region, up towards the navel or up towards the diaphragm, sitting underneath the lungs. And then just observe your breath. Observe the expansion of the inhalation and the contraction of the exhalation. Just holding onto your knees and observe the energy of the in-breath. Expanding into the lungs, expanding into the blood, expanding into the arms and the chest and the torso and the legs. Just observing the physiology of your breath. And then just release Mula Bandha, release Jalandhara Bandha, and raise your head. Just observing the energy that you have released into the body. Get a couple of blocks either side of the hips for sukhasana. So reach underneath the reach the right hand underneath the left knee, bring in the right elbow onto the block. Push that elbow really firmly into the block so that you can lengthen across into that left seat bone. So the more you keep that left seat bone down, the more you can turn, the more you will extend along that left side as you raise your arm, look underneath the armpit and extend over. Breathing in and out through the nose, keeping that left seat bone firmly down on the floor. Try and keep the seat bones feeling level, which is don't mean feet in fairness, but activate that right elbow and stretch into the left seat bone. And then come back to the center. Just observe the energy around the torso. And then come onto the left side. So hold onto the underside of the left knee with the left hand. Bring your elbow onto the block. Push that left elbow into the block, stretching across to that right side. Turn the abdomen to face the ceiling. And extend up and over, look underneath the armpit. Breathing in and out through the nose. And then come back to the center, holding onto your knees. And breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, just observing the breath. Maybe your sinuses feel a little clearer. We're just going to do a little bit of brahmari, pranayama, just to clean out the sinuses. So remember, brahmari is where you take a normal inhalation and then you hum the exhalation until you run out of breath. We'll do 5 of those. So when you're ready, take just a normal inhalation, a normal exhalation, a normal inhalation, and then we'll begin. Feeling the resonance into the chest, into the head. And then bring the breath back to normal rhythm. Just hold onto your knees, lift the chest, and then turn to the right side, drawing your abdomen across from the left to the right. Come back to the center, hold onto your knees, and then turn with an exhalation to the left. And then gently come back to the center. Just come down onto your back. Have a blanket, folded blanket from underneath your head. And then come down onto the floor, come down onto your back. If you're wearing glasses, take them off just to relax your face. So the blanket is just underneath the shoulders, sorry, the neck and the head. Just hold onto the edges of your mat. Pull on the edges of the mat like you want to tear it apart, like you want to push the mat away from your shoulders. Bend your knees and then raise your legs up for viparita karanhi. Holding onto the mat, tearing it apart, pushing the mat away from your shoulders. Just breathing evenly, listening to the breath. Bend your knees, bring your feet down to the floor, and then stretch your legs away. Just come up onto your elbows for a moment. Just make sure you're in a really good straight line right down the center of your mat. And then just let your arms just come away from your body a little, palms facing upwards. Just connecting the tips of the thumb with the index finger, palms facing upwards. Just breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Just observing the lightness of your energy radiating out from the bones. Just observing that energy radiating out from the bones and into the muscles and into the organs, into the flesh and the skin. Using your in-breath and your out-breath to distribute that feeling of lightness evenly down into the toes, into the fingers, into the top of the head. Just enjoying the feeling of energetic lightness. And then when you're ready, just gently wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers. Just bring yourself back into this pose of shavasana. And then draw your knees in toward your chest. Just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom. Just a gentle massage on the spine. And then roll over onto your right side. Just stay down for a breath or two. And then straighten out the top leg, come back up into the seated position. Just come into cross legs with your hands in the masti. Just a final spinal lift. Draw your breath in through your nose, down into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice this morning, that good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions and the forward bends and the twists and the inversions bring to the body and to the mind. And then draw your chin down to meet your chest. Just spend a moment to seek, to acknowledge the positive energy you have created inside. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. Connect the tip of the index finger with the tip of the thumb. Just a gesture of wisdom and peacefulness that we can carry through into our day. And then raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. So hopefully you feel as though you have really lifted your energy, given yourself good, positive energy to put into your day. Thank you very much for joining me.